Hi, my name is Walt Sellers. This is The League, Episode 3, covering all things NBA, trade rumors, free agency, playoffs, and more. Today, there is a whole lot to talk about. The Houston Rockets and Golden State Warriors, Game 1 was last night after the Clippers and Warriors series ended in 6 games back in LA. Kevin Durant going for 50 points. Houston Rockets Golden State series is a series I've been talking a lot about my first 2 episodes because I feel as if this series determines the NBA champion. I think Portland will put up a good fight in the conference finals versus either one of these teams. But even then, Houston and Golden State have too much three-point firepower, and they should get it done. But going back to Game 1 last night sparked a lot of controversy. Houston Rockets were complaining about three-point calls and the landing spot, especially James Harden. Towards the end of the game, James Harden gets a steal, down by 3 with about 10 seconds left. James Harden goes up for a three-pointer. The NBA ended up deciding that it wasn't a foul after further review after the game in the post report. But James Harden complains about the call. He misses the 3. Draymond apparently lands in his landing spot, and which is why he wanted the foul call. Chris Paul therefore gets the rebound. Klay Thompson dives into Chris Paul. No foul was called. And Chris Paul proceeds to get his second technical of the game, getting him ejected, causing the Warriors' three-point lead to increase to 4. And the game subsequently being over. The main thing coming from this game is the calls that were called for the Houston Rockets three-point fouls during the regular season did not transpire over to the postseason, and that's why a bunch of Houston Rockets fans have been getting mad. I'm a Houston Rockets fan myself, but honestly, I don't think that we need to be complaining about the foul calls. We played a horrible game. I know Golden State didn't play their best either, but we played a horrible game, and we don't need to have these excuses, because if these excuses go into Game 2, we are going to get throttled by Golden State because we are not going to catch them on another off shooting night. Golden State won fair and square, to be honest. Mike D'Antoni said that there were 20 missed free throw opportunities that game because of foul calls. That is true, but at the same time, we just got to play smarter. I think we jacked up way too many threes and ultimately lost the game because the Houston Rockets couldn't make shots. Game 1, all these analysts are saying that it's over now because Golden State was tired and rusty, and now that they secured a game that the Houston Rockets should have won, it's over. I do not believe that is the case. It's a 7-game series, I believe. I think Houston Rockets will come back and win Game 2, tie it up 1-1, and get back to Houston with home court advantage. And that's about all I have to say about the Houston Golden State series, because it's only Game 1. You can't decide a series and what it's going to be like after one game. Moving on, Milwaukee and Boston had an interesting game last night. Boston coming out and throttling the Milwaukee Bucks. My biggest takeaway from the game is Kyrie's 11 assists. He was distributing and scoring. And if you get Kyrie in the fourth quarter with a close game, he's going to close it out almost every single time. Kyrie Irving is the most clutch player in the NBA and has been a long time since Kobe Bryant, in my opinion. Boston's 5-0 in the playoffs now. They're looking very strong. They are now looking like the front runners, not Milwaukee, as I first believed. If this keeps going on, I think Boston's easily going to have a trip to the finals and challenge either Houston or Golden State. Boston's game plan last night was they got out especially Al Horford, they got out on the perimeter as soon as Giannis got the ball, because they did not want to allow him momentum to get to the basket. Because as soon as he gets that first step from the three-point line into the paint, it's over. He's dunking on someone. But they stalled him and allowed him not to drive. And they based their offense around Giannis getting the ball, driving to the basket, and either him dunking on someone or him dishing out to the corners or sides for wide-open threes. That's why they built it around him. That's how the Houston Rockets built it around. They have a one-headed monster in Giannis who dishes out, who drives to the basket as their primary ball handler and dishes out or scores. just how the Houston Rockets play. They have PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, or Gerald Green on the 3-point line, and have Chris Paul and James Harden run the show and drive to the basket and either score or dish out. Unlike a Warriors type style play where they move, where all 5 people touch the ball on the offense and then ultimately get a bucket, like traditional basketball. If they keep doing this to Giannis is going to be limited and he's not going to be able to do anything and help his team out. The Philadelphia 76ers and Toronto Raptors played last night. Also, Toronto, I think Kawhi Leonard had 42 points easily, very easily. Toronto's going to win the series, I believe, in 5 or 6 games. They're not going to sweep Philly. Philly's got too much talent, one of the best starting 5s in the league. But unless you're stopping Kawhi Leonard, you aren't doing anything. As soon as Kyle Lowry decides to hit his shots, it's over. It's over. I think the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be Toronto and Boston now. Milwaukee shocked me in Game 1 last night. I know I said that you can't determine a series off one game, but when it's a throttling game and you are limiting their offensive player to a horrible game, it shows a lot. And I don't know if there's a lot that Milwaukee can counteract with. There's some more important aspects to these playoffs going on. I feel like the Eastern Conference is so loosey-goosey right now because LeBron James isn't there anymore. And every team feels like they have a great shot at making the finals. I think all 4 teams in the Eastern Conference believe that they can make the finals. I know Milwaukee and Boston can make the finals, but sadly they're playing each other in the conference semifinals. And I firmly believe that those are the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. Toronto being 3rd, Philly being 4th. The 4 best teams are playing in the conference semifinals in the East. But the 2 best teams are playing before the conference finals, which I think stinks. I think that a better series would have been Philly-Boston, which is a heated rivalry, and Toronto-Milwaukee. I would love to see what Kawhi Leonard and Giannis do with each other. Moving back to the Western Conference, Denver survives versus the San Antonio Spurs after having a big lead and big game for Jokic. Spurs down by 2 with less than a minute to go, but Denver holds on to win the game. Now they move on to play the Portland Trail Blazers. To be honest, I think Portland might sweep the Denver Nuggets, even though that they have the number 2 seed and have home court advantage. I think that'll be taken away quick. I think Denver is too young, too inexperienced to deal with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum and company. They are hot right now. I think this will be 4 or 5 at the max game series. Damian Lillard is playing like the best point guard in the NBA right now, and they're doing way too much to limit them. An important topic, not concerning the NBA playoffs, that has been on my mind lately is Kevin Durant's offseason. Kevin Durant dictates where the NBA is moving in the future. Kevin Durant stays with the Warriors, unless the Houston Rockets beat them this year, that dynasty is going to remain for another 4 years. If Kevin Durant goes to the Eastern Conference with Kyrie Irving, goes to the New York Knicks, they're going to start a dynasty in New York. And the Eastern Conference is going to become like the Western Conference, and the Eastern Conference is going to become a chaos of different teams who have a legitimate potential to make the NBA Finals. It's just going to be a switch. If KD decides to go to LA with LeBron, the NBA should just quit in general. LeBron James and Kevin Durant is not fair to the NBA. If they don't allow Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant to play together, how are you going to let LeBron James and Kevin Durant, 2 of the best players of all time, be on the same team? I think that's ridiculous. There isn't a whole lot to talk about today. It's only game 1 so far of the conference semifinals. There's going to be a lot more to cover after this weekend. It is only Monday night. I should release a podcast by this Thursday. I want to get a couple games in so I can have more to talk about. It's going to be very interesting to see how Houston Rockets respond to all these official critiques and how their game plan is going to change, as well as Milwaukee's game plan, and seeing if they're going to be more of a ball movement type of team instead of relying around Giannis. But besides that, there's not much to talk about. I think these series should go quick. Besides the Boston Golden State series, besides the Houston Rockets Golden State series, and we'll see what goes from there. Thanks for watching the podcast. My name is Walt Sellers. You can find my podcast episodes 1 through 3 on Spotify at Walt Sellers, or on Instagram. My username is Walt_Sellers. My link is in the bio for episode 2 and will be for episode 3 now by the time this video comes out. And I appreciate all of y'all listening, and subscribe. Appreciate it.